Penguins. These remarkable creatures with their distinctive black and white plumage are instantly recognizable. These flightless birds are renowned for their ability to thrive in some of the harshest environments on Earth, from the icy shores of Antarctica to the rocky coasts of South America, Africa, and New Zealand. Let's together explore the key stages in a penguin's life, from hatching to becoming a mature adult, highlighting the unique challenges and behaviors they exhibit during each phase. The penguin's life cycle begins with an egg. Penguin reproduction typically begins with the formation of monogamous pairs during the breeding season. Most penguin species are known for their strong pair bonds, although in some species such as the emperor penguin, the bond lasts only for the breeding season. Nesting habits vary significantly among species. For example, emperor penguins lay their eggs on the ice, while species like the gentoo and Adelie penguins build nests from rocks and pebbles. The female usually lays 1 or 2 eggs, depending on the species. The eggs are relatively small compared to the size of the adult bird. The incubation period also varies between species but typically lasts between 30 and 60 days. Emperor penguins in particular have an extraordinary incubation process. After the female lays a single egg, the male takes over incubation by balancing the egg on his feet and covering it with a specialized fold of skin known as a brood pouch. This process occurs during the brutal Antarctic winter, with temperatures plummeting below -40 degrees Celsius and fierce winds battering the breeding colony. Male emperor penguins fast for around 2 months while keeping the egg warm, huddling together to conserve body heat. In other penguin species, both parents share incubation duties, alternating between keeping the egg warm and foraging for food. Penguins rely heavily on their strong sense of duty, as failing to properly incubate the egg can lead to the chick's death in harsh environmental conditions. The process of hatching is laborious for a penguin chick. After several weeks of development inside the egg, the chick uses a specialized egg tooth located on the tip of its beak to break through the eggshell. This process, known as pipping, can take up to 3 days. During this time, the chick is vulnerable to cold temperatures and predators, making the protection of the parent critical. Once the chick hatches, it is usually wet and weak, requiring the warmth and protection of its parents for survival. In the case of emperor penguins, the male continues to shelter the newly hatched chick on his feet, as it takes several days for the female to return from her long feeding trip. In species where both parents share responsibilities, the newly hatched chick is fed regurgitated food by the parent that was foraging. The chick is typically covered in a soft, downy layer of feathers, which provides minimal insulation compared to the waterproof feathers of an adult penguin. This down is not sufficient for swimming or prolonged exposure to cold, so the chick remains dependent on its parents for warmth and food. The chick rearing phase is one of the most critical stages in a penguin's life. Penguin chicks are entirely dependent on their parents for nourishment and protection. Both parents take turns feeding the chick by regurgitating food, which typically consists of fish, krill, and squid, depending on the species and their habitat. During the first few weeks of life, penguin chicks are highly vulnerable to predation and environmental threats. In many species, both parents leave the chick in a creche, a group of young penguins that huddle together for warmth and protection. This social structure provides some safety from predators like skuas and giant petrels, which are known to prey on young penguins. As the chicks grow, they begin to develop their second layer of down, which provides better insulation. However, they still lack the waterproof feathers needed for swimming and foraging at sea. During this time, the parents continue to alternate between foraging trips and feeding their offspring. Feeding regurgitated food to the chicks is crucial for their development, as it provides the essential nutrients they need to grow rapidly. The growth rate of penguin chicks is impressive. Depending on the species, they can increase their body weight by several times within just a few weeks. For example, an emperor penguin chick can grow from a tiny, fragile hatchling to a hefty chick weighing several kilograms in just 2 to 3 months. This rapid growth is vital, as the harsh conditions of their environment demand that the chicks develop quickly to survive. Fledging is the stage when penguin chicks begin to leave the creche and become more independent. This process typically occurs when the chick has developed its juvenile feathers, which are waterproof and essential for swimming and surviving in the ocean. Fledging can take anywhere from a few months to a year depending on the species. Once the chicks have fledged, they are capable of swimming and foraging for food, although they are still inexperienced hunters. Many penguin species undergo a molt before fledging, shedding their downy feathers and replacing them with a new set of waterproof feathers. This molt is a crucial transformation, as it marks the chick's readiness to leave the colony and venture into the ocean. For emperor penguins, the fledging process is particularly dramatic. After spending several months being fed and sheltered by their parents, the chicks must make their way to the open ocean. This journey often involves crossing treacherous ice fields and braving the elements. The ability to swim and find food independently is a significant milestone in the life of a young penguin. During the fledging period, penguins are vulnerable to predation from leopard seals and killer whales, especially as they take their first swims. Their survival depends on quickly developing their hunting and swimming skills, as they no longer receive parental care once they enter the ocean. Once penguins have fledged and entered the ocean, they enter the juvenile stage, during which they continue to grow and hone their skills. Juvenile penguins face a steep learning curve as they adapt to the challenges of life at sea. The young penguin, now almost the size of an adult, undergoes its first molt. This stage can last for several years depending on the species, before they reach sexual maturity. Juvenile penguins often resemble adults in size but are distinguished by their plumage. They lack the distinctive markings of adult penguins and typically have a duller coloration. For example, juvenile king penguins have brownish feathers instead of the striking black, white, and orange coloration of the adults. This difference in appearance helps differentiate juveniles from mature penguins within the colony. During the juvenile stage, penguins travel long distances, sometimes migrating thousands of kilometers in search of food. This period is essential for them to build up their strength and endurance. Penguins are highly efficient swimmers, using their flippers to propel themselves through the water at speeds of up to 15 kilometers per h. They can dive to great depths in search of prey, with emperor penguins reaching depths of over 500 meters. The juvenile stage is also a time for socialization. Penguins are highly social animals, and juveniles often form groups when foraging or resting on land. These social interactions play a role in preparing them for adulthood, particularly when it comes to breeding behaviors and forming bonds with potential mates. Penguins typically reach sexual maturity between the ages of 3 and 8 years, depending on the species. Smaller penguin species, such as the little blue penguin, may mature earlier, while larger species like the emperor and king penguins take longer to reach adulthood. Once penguins reach sexual maturity, they return to their breeding colonies to find a mate. For many species, this is a seasonal migration, with penguins traveling long distances to reach their traditional breeding grounds. The timing of this migration is often influenced by environmental factors, such as food availability and sea ice conditions. Breeding is a highly ritualized process for penguins. Courtship displays, vocalizations, and elaborate behaviors are used to attract mates. Some species, like the gentoo and Adelie penguins, present pebbles to their potential mates as part of their courtship ritual. Once a pair has bonded, they often remain together for multiple breeding seasons, although some species may form new pair bonds each year. After mating, the female lays 1 or 2 eggs, and the life cycle begins anew. Adult penguins must balance the demands of raising their young with the need to forage for food. This delicate balance is a testament to their resilience and adaptability in some of the most challenging environments on Earth. As adult penguins, these birds lead a life that revolves around breeding, foraging, and surviving in the wild. They spend a significant portion of their lives at sea, where they hunt for fish, krill, and squid. Penguins are highly skilled hunters, using their streamlined bodies and powerful flippers to pursue prey underwater. They are also known for their cooperative hunting strategies, often working together to corral schools of fish. Penguins have a relatively long lifespan compared to other birds, with some species living up to 20 years or more in the wild. However, their lives are not without danger. Adult penguins face numerous threats, including predation by leopard seals, orcas, and sharks, as well as environmental challenges such as climate change, which is affecting their habitats and food sources. Human activities, such as overfishing and pollution, also pose significant threats to penguin populations. Some species, like the African penguin, are considered endangered due to habitat destruction and declining fish stocks. Conservation efforts are crucial to ensuring the survival of these remarkable birds. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe for more exciting nature adventures. See you next time.